Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Waffle Press Morning Movie Show. It's our new version of Hangouts. They're basically just going to be uploaded in the morning now. I mean, recorded in the morning. This is, 6 a.m., Monday morning. That's what we're doing. That's what's going on. I'm just going to assume the world is at a worse place than it was when we were actually recording this. But again, I'm your host, Diego Crespo. With me is my co-host, Universa.
Hello, good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too, and happy belated birthday at the time of this upload and
happy
recording.
birthday.
Yes, it was. Thank you. I celebrated, had a few shots. Nothing too major. Just a
Did
few.
you have as many shots as your age?
Hell no,
Why not?
because it's deadly.
Only punches, right?
That's deadly. Trying to kill me or something.
If you pace it throughout the day, I think you can do it. But that
Maybe.
other voice you're hearing is our good friend and fellow filmmaker, Andrew Santa Cruz. Andrew, how are you?
Hey, hello. I'm good. It's been a while. Long time since I've been on here. So yeah,
Since
many people recognize me, but
no one knows. No, I don't remember last
I
time.
don't even remember either. So
I think that was when we were like just kind of doing this to hang out, and now we're like, we could
Yeah.
probably make like a thing of it. So welcome to the
come a long way.
Yeah, welcome to the new and revamped Waffle Press. We go to Comic-Con in the years where there's not an apocalypse. We won't be doing that this year, but cool comic panels at other conventions. So cool stuff. But what about you? What have you been up to in that intervening time? What's new? How are you also? And what are we talking about today with movies?
So what's happening with me? Nothing much. I mean, other than just trying to survive like the apocalypse and social uprising, all that, just the usual slew of 2020 happenings. Other than that, just working. Well, I was let go of work, so not working anymore. But prior to all this, I was working, just doing a couple of little minor things, here and there in terms of like film. Mostly with you guys, kind of just some shorts and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, we all did a short film together for Roger Corman's Quarantine Fest. So I'll put a link down below for that because that was a lot of fun to come like do that with you guys over Zoom and Skype like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was really interesting. I gotta say, it's not like anything else I've ever done or we've ever done, like film wise. So that was kind of weird, but fun, to do during like quarantine and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I hope they announce the winner soon. That'd be nice.
They ever announce a winner?
No, they did. Roger Corman tweeted them out.
They did?
It was just like a fun, like little nerdy thing to do for like the first 2 months of quarantine, and then we didn't win anything.
No, I figured that, but it was fun regardless. It definitely, like, I don't know, for me it helped like kind of get my mind off of everything going on. So
that's really necessary right now.
Yeah, more than ever. So
yeah, getting stretching the creative muscles, that's been a big thing of that, and so that's helped me a lot, just trying to keep that momentum going, like with Gene as well, and like just about myself and with the podcast, it's been very beneficial to like my sanity.
Yeah, man, it's tough. Like, how do you function normally nowadays? We've had to like rethink of all that, how we live our lives. So it's definitely been interesting. Sorry, what was the other questions you asked? What else have I been watching?
Yeah,
what have I been watching? All kinds of stuff, man. I've got HBO Max, so I've been watching like all kinds of classics, mostly samurai films. Kind of just going back over Kurosawa. What else? I did watch Motherless Brooklyn, which I really enjoyed. So some of the more like recent films from, like modern films that I've seen, that one was really good. I've been watching some like what is it? I don't want to say like Victorian era films, you know, Jane Eyre, stuff like that with my girlfriend. So period pieces. There you go.
There it is.
Been watching period
I
pieces.
totally forgot too.
Yeah. I'm like trying to think of the word. I've been watching period pieces, stuff like that. And then also like along that line, was that show The Great also, which was great as well.
Yeah.
On Hulu, also a period piece, but it's like it's taking history, but it's doing it in like this very weird, like, you know, satirical way. And so that, yeah, a lot of TV shows, you know, just a bunch of stuff.
Naturally, I have to ask you, have you seen Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra?
I have, yeah. I finally watched that show after not even watching it as a kid. I didn't it passed by me, man. Like that was a show I didn't even get to or anything, get to experience like when I was younger. So it was interesting watching it like as an adult. But I fucking loved it. Yeah, excuse my language.
No, language is totally acceptable.
We're good. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it, man. Yeah, it was awesome. I actually preferred Avatar over Korra, although I did really enjoy Korra as well. And I thought it was cool, you know, showing like a more, older, you know, like version of events and, you know, kind of happening in that world. So it was cool to see it from like almost like I forget their age. They're like young teens or something, right?
Yeah, like in Last Airbender, they're like 12, 13. I think
They're like
Zuko
kids,
is the
yeah.
oldest, like 15. And then in Korra, it's like
they're
the
more
15
adult.
to 18 range.
Yeah. So that was cool, like the change of that, the change of dynamics and stuff. So, but both I really loved. Incredible, like storytelling, incredible, like animation, everything. So I don't know why I just missed out on it until now, you know. So barely catching up, but you know, better late than ever. So
yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of that show. It's there for whenever people need it, and I think, you know, maybe you needed it right now at this time. So
totally, yeah. I want to say it's definitely like the right time and place. You know, they finally put it on Netflix, which I don't know why they took that long with it anyway. So
yeah, it's weird because it was like one of the first shows that was on Netflix, and then they took it off eventually, and now they're like, we're doing the live action show, probably still, and then they brought it back on. So
unfortunately, that live action.
I don't think it's gonna stick around, but that's a whole other conversation. But that makes me happy to hear so many people discovering it through Netflix right now, and obviously I've started the retrospective for The Last Airbender that'll lead us to the movie and Legend of Korra for the remainder of this year and a little bit of next year. So everyone else keep an eye out for that. The full season 1 will be available on Patreon, and then season 2 will start coming around Patreon soon too. I'm almost done editing those, so just hold on with that. Other stuff we're talking about this episode will be Tenet. Gene and Andrew will take care of that discussion because I have not seen it yet. And then obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see Bill and Ted in my background, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And New Mutants, which finally was released, kind of. And
I was just thrown out there to the wolves.
Yeah.
The demon bears.
Excellent.
I really liked one of those movies I just mentioned.
Oh.
Can you guess which one it was?
I think I can, but I'll leave it to you to discuss.
How could I guess? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But New Mutants. I forget. Have we all seen it here or no?
I have not.
I saw it. I saw it at the drive-in actually 2 weeks ago. And I don't know. I kind of felt bad for it. Maybe I was a little nicer to it than some people, but I certainly could say it's a movie. It's a movie. It functions. There's a lot of problems with it, but I don't think it's not unwatchable. I would say I'm not sure how much of a compliment is because the way it was getting mythology, uh, how it was being made into this myth of just like they didn't do any reshoots. There wasn't any additional filming for it. Who knows if Disney made them cut stuff, but yeah, it was for its credit, it functioned, but it's not that good. Is the thing. It's like it's meh at best. There's a lot of cringy aspects of it, and like they really go out of their way to take things to the extreme. Like Ileana Magic, like they want her to be like an unlikable mean girl, and then for that, you could have a character be disrespectful or to another character, maybe mess with him. But it's like she calls like Daniel Moonstar like kind of like really like racist names. And
Yeah,
it's
she's very racist
yeah,
in this, and like,
Oh wow.
yeah, it catches you off guard. You're like, oh
Yeah.
shoot, like, why is this here? Like, you can have. I'm totally pro unlikable protagonist, but
right.
like, I think you have to be smart about how you like manage a character like that. Like Shane Black's whole career is like, I'm making the most unlikable, pretentious douchebag ever,
Right.
and the arc of the film is them learning to like move beyond their selfishness, right? Like that's always like the reason for that. But there it just kind of like stops. And yeah, like I was looking forward to the movie because I was like, Demon Bear's the villain.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's like the weirdest character ever, besides Dupe,
You were-
of course. But
you
no one
were
knows
really
Dupe.
hyped about Demon Bear, but Demon
I
Bear
was-
looks like a PlayStation graphic.
Demon Bear looks like shit.
Looks like the PS2.
Yeah.
I will say for the
Oh, wow.
the projection at the drive-in, kind of it was a little muddy and like dark, so it kind of gave Demon Bear some gave some
Texture?
like unintended texture and gave some relief.
But no, the movie is like really just whatever. Yeah, Gene was right. Like when you were saying that it's kind of like built up to be like this mythological release. Like, why was it hidden? The honest truth is probably just production incompetence. Like, there's no like reason for beyond that. It's just like no one knew what they wanted to do with the release for it, and so the Fox X-Men franchise goes out with like the ultimate whimper. Like it's finally dead, and it's just like, oh, that's it.
But
That sucks, yeah.
that's so on brand.
I know, like they could have just stopped at Logan.
They could have
Yeah.
The conversations
was-
for the Disney
I
buyout
guess
were
it-
definitely like in behind the scenes by that point, right? So
Yeah,
like
they
they
needed
could have
to
just
stop.
stopped.
Because that was like 2017 they filmed, so they had some inkling of an idea. Maybe, hey, this is a good movie to do. I mean, like Deadpool 2, I couldn't have gone without.
Yeah, like I think Deadpool 2 is fine, but like when you do Logan and then you look at everything else they released after, it's like, wow, you guys, you just thought you could keep doing that?
I guess so.
All right. Good riddance, I guess. But yeah, New Mutants, no one's missing out. Wait till it streams for free if you're still curious. But it's like this is the most I think anyone's ever talked about New Mutants now.
Right.
Like there's just really nothing else to talk about. It just doesn't really have anything beyond a collection of scenes. Everything the movie does, you can see done better in Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
Go
and
watch
that's not,
it.
Yeah, and I don't even mean to like further dig on New Mutants. Just like that's a really good movie, and this is a poor imitation of it. So that's all.
Yeah. They did a nice New Mutants Dream Warriors mashup.
Yeah. So go check it out. Gene edited that, and that's
better than the movie.
Fine.
It's better than
it's
the
more
movie.
entertaining. It's more entertaining. Yeah.
So.
Did you watch it on 1, 2, 3 movies?
No, of course not.
Probably should have though. All right, moving on.
Moving on. Moving on. What else did you watch, Gene? What have you seen recently? I brought up New Mutants, so I figure why not let you go?
Yeah. Recently, Bill and Ted, Face the Music. I saw it at the drive-in. I'm not venturing to the theaters. Maybe if I had like a bubble boy suit, I would have gone to go see it. But
you could get it. You can get it online.
Get it online. What do you think they're gonna tell me? Like, hey, sir, like, can you knock it off? Like, no. Stay alive, damn it.
You can rent it online, Gene.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna go see it in the theater.
Yeah, no, of course not. No,
No.
that would be ridiculous. But I think this is a great movie. Like I
I
just
think
think
it is.
it's just a complete bundle of joy that's sorely needed right now.
Yeah, it has a nice message. It's about unity, world unity, time travel. Who
And of
knew?
course, Keanu Reeves. So
Yeah,
Yeah, Keanu Reeves
friendship.
is just a saint. So
is
Yeah.
he's what the world needs right now.
but no, I mean, like, I was talking to Gene earlier this week, and like, because he had seen it before me, and the moment that I felt comfortable that they nailed it, even before watching the movie, is in the trailer when like
Hmm.
Bill and Ted are talking to their daughters in hell, and then they're like, "Oh, how are you?" And then like, "Oh, well, you know, we're in hell," and he's like, "But how are you? Like, are you like?" He's just so concerned because there's Bill and Ted are such good guys, you know,
Yeah,
like they're just
Yeah.
so nice, and that's such a beautiful like thing about those movies is like they're the craziest things ever. They could be some schlocky, stupid, like stoner comedies, but
Mhm.
they're like they all have a bunch of heart, and they're all about being nice and like helping people, and it's so great to see that like fulfilled in a third movie, you know,
Mhm.
like not just a trilogy of movies, but like a trilogy of comedies that are all good, you
Yeah.
know, and I
yeah,
might
yeah.
argue that get a little better as they go along. I don't know how that controversial that is,
Mm.
um,
I love the
but
first one.
I,
First one's classic. Yeah, I
yeah,
actually just rewatched it recently. Um, Showing my girlfriend. She never saw it before, so
Oh, nice.
see it again. Yeah. Um, Again, reiterating, like as an adult, it was just really fun. It's a fun movie, man. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of it's got its corny moments, but it's you know overall, I think like what you're saying, it's just like good fun. It's just like heartfelt, you know, and yeah, it's like kind of giving you a bit of like a lesson and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
there is some like good and like out there, and you know,
mhm. And like there's obviously a lot of problems like in the world that are it's going to be a lot harder to solve them with more than just like we all need to be nice to each other.
yeah,
But like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that is also something that's important to remember through all this, you know, that
mm,
like, yeah, sometimes it is just nice to care about one another, you know, like
Yeah.
yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
that is enough. And that's right now, that's just very important to remember.
exactly.
That was kind of
Like a
exactly
great
the movie I
man once
needed.
said, Tommy Wiseau, people were just better to each other.
Yeah.
Things. No, I'm just.
No,
Yeah, but yeah,
Tommy
no,
was so the god.
Yeah.
But,
A great man. But
yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
Bill and Ted. I mean, yeah, what more could you say? It's just nice, you know? It's a nice movie. And just seeing everyone, seeing Keanu come back to the character again, and Alex Winter, who doesn't really act, I guess he directs. They just really like those characters, so that's really nice.
Yeah, you could tell that they also just like are friends in real life, you know?
Hmm.
And so I think that makes it so easily like translatable to the characters and the performances where it's like, oh no,
Yeah.
they are just like pals hanging out. And there's just all this crazy shit, like
Hmm.
weird science fiction fantasy stuff thrown in constantly with like the Grim Reaper,
Yeah.
you know, and like um also Kid Cudi. like
Oh, really?
I yeah. Oh,
He's
okay,
in
Andrew.
it?
So
Oh, I didn't know
you
that.
haven't seen it.
No, I was not aware.
Okay, my bad. My bad. I won't say too much then, but it's it's so good. It is just it's something to make you happy in times of hardship. And
Yeah.
I it's the biggest recommendation I'm going away with this week
All
because
right.
everything else I've seen recently is like, oh, you know what? No, I saw Tesla. Not to derail the conversation, but I saw Tesla and I loved it.
I did want to see that one as well. The
Yeah,
uh, with Ethan Hawke, right? That one.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I did
everyone
want to check
watch
that one out.
Tesla. It's like it's one of those biopics that comes by every couple years by like a genuine like artist, you know, and is like making like a real movie and not like a
Mhm.
Wikipedia entry. So it watch Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird electronic stuff in it, and maybe a karaoke performance by Ethan Hawke.
Oh, wow.
It's like the craziest movie ever made, played completely straight. So it made me happy.
Yeah.
But there you go. Those are my two big recommendations for the week: Tesla and Bill and Ted Face the
Bill and
Music.
Ted, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely see Bill and Ted.
Yeah. I was going to quickly add, just for movies to talk about really quick before we go into the last couple subjects. You Cannot Kill David Arquette. It was a good documentary about him being a fucking wrestler. Like he's
Okay.
training to be a wrestler. Can you imagine that? Because he was in
That
the
sounds interesting.
WCW, and they wrote him to win, and all the fans hated him, so he's trying to like reclaim his glory. So if anyone wants to see that, go see it.
Wow.
And Class Action Park, if anyone heard of that.
I've heard of that, but I know nothing about it.
Oh,
No.
so it's like a park that existed, amusement park. It's like a water park basically in like Jersey area, in the Jersey area. But everyone there were seriously injured because it was like designed by a rich tycoon that's crazy, and then the whole staff was just teenagers.
Oh,
It was run by kids, and then like people died there and shit, and it's pretty interesting. I'll just give it that.
wow.
If you look it up, Action Park, it actually existed.
That sounds like the premise of like a really cheap, trashy slasher movie from the 80s.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
does.
Wow.
I was gonna say like it's like an Adult Swim show or something ridiculous, but that actually happened.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, I heard about that, but I didn't know anything about that. That's wow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how else to respond to that. It's just wow. Okay, well, you'd recommend it though, right?
Yes, I would.
Oh, all right. I guess before we move on to the last subject, this is really for Andrew and Gene because I have not seen Tenet yet. I will watch it eventually, obviously. Gene and I did our whole Christopher Nolan thing because we were excited to see Tenet at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna leave the conversation to you guys right now. I might interject once in a while if I have a question, but
All right.
if you guys want to spoil things, I will I'll be okay with that. So I'll leave that up to you guys.
Well,
So
okay,
you guys want...
we'll spoil it, but we'll say it in reverse, so it won't be spoiled.
Oh, okay.
And you can just use inversion later to understand.
I'm gonna catch the dialogue. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You catch bullets and stuff.
Well, nothing really matters anymore. So.
But yeah, go ahead. You guys saw Tenet. What'd you think?
We saw Tenet. We saw it at the drive-in, and it was in San Diego because this was before
San Diego.
Warner Brothers allowed the film they played at drive-ins, which made no fucking sense. That they were
bad move on them.
Just to be fucking assholes. And I guess that particular drive-in was just they either tricked Warner Brothers or it didn't apply to their county or they just said fuck it. But we don't know. We didn't ask them. So we just drove out to San Diego, and I don't know. Tenet was just frustrating. I felt I was very. I wouldn't say angry, but I was just like scratching my head on certain things, and I'm paying attention. Granted, Andrew's windows kept fogging up, but
I do apologize very much for that. I'm really sorry. It did not add to it did add to the confusion of watching that film with fogging windows, and we had to fucking wipe them down.
Wipe them down. I had to look outside. It was having my head out the window like a dog.
So I don't know if we jinxed it or anything, or Nolan heard us watching it at a drive-in. He's like, "Fuck those two guys."
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just don't understand a lot of the decisions in it. Besides, the sound mix, but just I felt like for a dense blockbuster, the main problem was I just didn't relate to any of the characters. Like the protagonist, who's literally called the protagonist.
What?
Yeah, he's called the protagonist. Like, there's no reason.
Yeah,
maybe that's his code name.
I think that was
is that
the bigger issues we had with it.
Yeah, was that his code name? I don't know. I still don't know.
I don't think anyone knows.
He's just called the
except like
protagonist.
Christopher. Yeah.
Like, do you remember when those like trailers were coming out, the teasers, like there was a new protagonist and everyone was not dunking on it, but they were like pointing out how Nolan hasn't had any people of color, right? As a
Oh,
protagonist.
Yeah, he's never had a movie with a lead like person of color, so it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's totally brand new. No one discovered like black people. Like,
Yeah.
good
It
for
was
him.
and it's like he doesn't even name him. Oh,
right.
cool.
I was no, it wasn't them being glib about that. It was the fact that they literally had a protagonist,
Name.
and yeah, and it was just I didn't really see like some of the time travel I get that, like, it's a movie, we can only have so much science, but it's just like I felt like a lot of this the time travel just wasn't really thought out well. It was just all the bullshit. Like, even for Nolan, where science could be, theoretical, okay, like a black hole, it's like theoretical, so I guess the power of love could work, right? But Tenet, I just felt it was like just being clever. Like, it was trying to do this clever sort of backwards, forwards, and just to be clever for clever's sake. Like, look, I'm looking at Letterbox, and they have, after a certain point, they have everything upside down. If you scroll down their page on Tenet, to be clever, it's like gimmicky stuff like that. I felt it was gimmicky. Like, if you go
Yeah,
to the Letterbox page right now.
and to kind of to kind of spring off of what Gene's saying about the film, I have to say I agree with most of that. It's kind of just like it feels, yeah, like almost like so Nolan, but like pushed to the extreme,
Yeah,
where he just like so invested in like the obsession of time and like an enigma, of like,
like
oh,
a
it's a
mystery
puzzle,
box.
so like, you know, you got to figure it out. But it's like, I don't know, it just, the execution just wasn't all there. It was almost like, yeah, like doing it just for the sake of it.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think the characters really suffer because of that. They're just kind of just there doing
yeah.
things just cause.
Like, I
There's
can't tell
no
you.
like emotional weight to it. I really didn't feel like invested with protagonists.
Yeah, I couldn't
Like,
tell you what his arc was either.
yeah, well, I mean, not until the end really, and even then, I feel like the payoff wasn't good enough because you're
Right.
not emotionally invested. It's like, oh, you figure out what it was all about, but it's like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
kind of check that box off.
yeah.
But
I just felt like there was like a mystery box, and then when you got there was like nothing to reward you with, at
there was
least.
no, exactly, yeah. um so but I think, I mean, to add some like positive light on it, I feel like technically it is really well done, from a technical standpoint. um I thought some shots were a little boring. They were, well, I mean, because they feel just so Nolan. It's just like, okay, well, here we go. Here's like, them having exposition and they're walking and stuff. It's like, okay, we've seen that before. But like all the backwards stuff and the inversion scenes are pretty amazing. Actually, they're really cool. That's something I've never really seen before and like different. And I can't even imagine, yeah, having to like choreograph shit like that, like, and thinking of it like backwards and like, so there's a lot of cool aspects to it. But
Yeah.
I think just, yeah, like again, the characters just suffer the most for it, and like in turn, I feel like the audience is going to suffer because it's like, well, what do I have
Yeah.
to invest in?
Exactly.
Really don't. You're just kind of watching things happen, and you don't really find out why till the end. But the other thing I will say is that the score was pretty awesome. And what's his name? Ludwig
Ludwig.
Göransson is fantastic. He did a great job on the score. I actually kind of prefer him over Hans Zimmer, but that's just me. So
Ludwig Göransson, from the highly acclaimed critical hit series New Girl, has been like on this massive glow up trajectory like this entire last decade.
Yeah.
So props to him. I'm really looking forward to hearing what he cooked up for that.
Yeah. I don't think you'll be disappointed with that aspect. But yeah, again, just everything else kind of suffers a bit, you know. But overall, it's an interesting film. I think like all the rest of Nolan's films, it requires multiple viewings to really, you know, kind of get an idea of it. Really like, you know, let it, you know, let your mind stew on it for a bit. And
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys really quick then. Do you think it will benefit you guys to watch it again? Because I have like heard that from literally every take, from positive to the negative spectrum, about this movie, that whether or not they hated it or loved it, liked it, whatever, like that everyone's like, no, I definitely need to watch it again because that was pretty dense.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And it is dense. They're packing a lot of, you know, really complex ideas and complex, you know, there's so many like little details in it. So whether you liked it or not, I feel like even the people who didn't like it they would come back to it and they'd be like, well, why did that happen? You know, like just to kind of figure it out, or like, what the hell was I watching, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, again, in that aspect, it kind of works, but like, I don't know. It depends who you ask, you know? Again, well, overall, I would say like it wasn't even like my, you know, top Nolan films.
No?
Or anything.
Okay,
So
then
that's a little disappointing.
It wasn't in mine. So
so no top 5 situation.
No, not really. I liked Insomnia better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with
And
that.
Gene and I had a discussion. I like Insomnia a lot. I just wish the director of photography was different, but we talked about
that's a
that
cool
enough
film,
already.
Man. That's a really great film too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
But definitely on the lower end for me.
Yeah. Oh, so we're down to like 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Okay. Do you
want
guys
to
have
end
any
the
other?
call?
Well, I mean, if we're basically done here, or unless you guys want to keep talking about Tenet, then I don't mind. I mean, how much more do you guys have to say?
I don't know. Do you have anything else, Shane?
Yeah, we could just wrap up like final thoughts. Yeah.
And then I'll close out the show from there.
Sure. So final thoughts, maybe don't risk your health to go see it.
Definitely, for the love of God, do not risk your health to see any movie.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't see how he's saving the movie theaters. I really don't.
I still don't think that I like that's a marketing thing, right? Like so much of this movie is like the marketing machine hype eating itself, right?
Yeah.
Like I think everyone expects every Nolan movie to be the greatest thing ever, and I'm a huge fan, but like that's just not the case. He just makes kick-ass movies, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think the problem with it also is he expects that as well. And like, I don't know. I was telling this to Gene like after we saw it too. I feel like this kind of bring him back to reality a little bit, you know, like kind of knock him down a peg and just be like, oh shit, maybe I don't know, should focus on these characters a little more, you know, instead of just like the one central thing that's gonna, you know, make the movie. I don't know, but
yeah.
So you loved it? No. But okay, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I didn't hate it, then? But I didn't love it. It was like just that. It's just like you know, kind of that in between. Like I said, I might have to. I think I just had to watch it in reverse.
You know? Hey, maybe there'll be a reverse cut. Release the reverse cut.
Yes. Hashtag release the reverse cut.
But I guess that's it for the show. Then thank you guys for your thoughts on Tenet, and thank you, Andrew, for stopping by. We do plugs at the end of this. You want to plug any social media, Instagram, whatever's?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and then that's about it. You know, I don't really use much else.
Okay, I'll plug your Instagram down below. And Gene.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, G9892.
And then you can find me at the Diego Crespo. Check out the Waffle Press on Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Patreon. I think that's it, right? I always feel like I'm forgetting something.
TikTok.
Yeah, good talk, everyone. Good talk. Stay safe. Don't go to theaters. Any production company that's trying to convince you to go to theaters is
Don't do
a
it.
fool. Don't do it. No movie's worth that. You can watch movies at home for now. I promise it'll be okay that way.
Yeah.
So thanks for
It'll be
listening
fine.
again. Thanks for watching. We have been professionally unprofessional. And then we can just let this out while it does that. But yeah, thanks again, Andrew. That was a lot of fun.